I am Vincent Meza. This is Listings to Leads, and we're here to talk about Facebook and Google Ads. And before we dive into that, I just want to give you a high level, in case this is the first time on our call. We have been here for 13 years. We are designed to help realtors, lenders, title folks, but specifically realtors. And we have tools to help you if you have listings, and we have tools to help you if you don't have listings. And whether you want to capture more leads for buyers or for sellers, we have tools to help you do that. Some of those are tools you can use on social media. Some of them you can use in print. Some of them you can blast out on your CRM. And some of them you can just run ads on. And that's really the point of this call today is what can we do in terms of ads? So a little more housekeeping before we get into it. If you're not aware of this page, leadgenwebinars.com, I definitely recommend that if you don't know how to use our system, that you use that. Let's see here. I'm sending it to everybody now. Today's class, as you can see here, is Facebook and Google. Scott's doing something, I think, in 1 hour. Yeah. On open house marketing. And so you definitely want to check that out. And then on Monday, I'm doing get started and top tools for more listings. Okay. And then and next year, I'll be starting a class for lenders. So for our lender partners that want to learn more and get their arms around this. So leadgenwebinars.com is where you sign up for free classes. Now, today is a free class, right? And like every class that we do, we record. And as we record those, they go here on our YouTube channel. And as I mentioned, when we were looking at lead gen webinars, we noticed that there were certain classes that were there. And here they are. 9 days ago, get started on the second row. Right before that, Facebook and Google ads. And then top tools for more listings. And I did top tools for more listings 2 days ago. I would tell you this, if you're new to us, and I know how much realtors like to watch hour-long videos. I hope you understand my sarcasm here. I literally am telling people to look at the most recent 10 videos on the top of this page. I know that it scares realtors when they see 392 videos, but that's because we've been doing this week after week for years. So you don't need to look back 2 years or 3 years because we have added so many tools since then and the interface could look different. But you do need to understand what's going on right here and right now and what's working right now. And the way that we do these classes is I have some bullet points that I focus on, but I talk to realtors every day, and so does Scott, and things are changing, and we share those in our calls. We share what we hear. And so you'll want to listen to a couple versions to really understand this. And when we look at this first video, top tools for more listings, it literally tells you the multiple ways you can get listings with our platform. If you want more listings in your business and you're in real estate, you probably want to watch that once or twice, like the various versions, just in case I say something different. And the same is true for Facebook. So anyway, that's right here, top tools for more listings. Let's go look here. One more resource, our mastermind group. If you're a client, please go to the support page and ask them to get you in this group. It is where Scott and I talk about new technology. It's also like right here, Steve just a couple days ago has a question about borrowed listings. So people ask questions and then other agents, they just share what they're doing. Let's see here. There's a really important thing. I highly recommend that you write down the name Pat Motley and you go look at this post here. What she's telling you is she has mailed 200 pieces of mail to 100 people, and she has 8 active listing leads, people who are calling her. So if you want more listings, you probably want to know what Pat Motley's doing, and you can go click this magnifying glass and you can type in Pat, or you could type in Chris Winstead, or you can type in Alicia Pless. And you will learn how our clients are using one of our top tools to get more listings. So that's there. That's in the mastermind group. And let's get into what we need to talk about today, which is Facebook and Google Ads. So when we log into the account, one of the first things you should do is go connect to your Facebook, Google stuff, right? And you go right over here on ads, and that's where it begins. So let's click there. I see a question. John can't find our Facebook group. That's right, John, because it's a private group and you cannot find it unless you're in it. And like I just said, you ask our support team to invite you and get you into the group. Okay. It's just a private group. You can't find it. Once you're in the group, you'll be able to find it all the time. It'll be in your groups page. So this is our Facebook page. Now I work in this all the time. When you come here the first time, this will not all be here. There'll be a big blue button in the middle and say connect to Facebook. Okay. And when you click that, it's going to take you to a page on Facebook and it's going to say, hey, this is your name. Is this you? And a lot of agents get scared and don't go further, but you should just click the button and say, yes, this is me. And the very second page is all of your business pages and community pages. And you can put multiple business pages there, right? And that's how you start. And then at that point, these two buttons are here, create a Facebook ad and create a Google ad. And I don't know if you can see, there's a little yellow green box here. It says last synced. And what that means is 2 hours ago, we synced with Facebook to get updated data points here, right? There's also, if you're brand new, there will be a yellow box here and it will say, click here to accept the custom audience terms. I highly recommend that you click there. We're going to talk about custom audiences later. And if you want more listings in your business, you definitely want to use custom audiences. So we'll come back to that, but we're just talking about setup. So there'll be a button here that says accept custom audience. You click on it. There's this big long page on Facebook of all these terms and rules and stuff. You most likely won't read it. At the top, nobody reads it. It's not, not saying you're a bad person. It's one of those long, horrible pages. On the top, it says accept terms and you click that and boom, you're done. When you come back here and you refresh your page, that yellow message will change. It'll have a green button that says turn on retargeting, and definitely turn on retargeting. So custom audiences and retargeting are one of the most powerful things going on Facebook. And when we get to that point, I will show you what that is. So at that point, you will have a Facebook button, create Google ad button, and you'll have a create audience button for custom audiences. On Google, you can click on it, see these options, and whatever option you choose, it's going to offer for you to sign up. The Google software is an added feature. Okay. And that's an additional $30, but I'm going to explain to you why you're going to want that. Now, you may not want it. It depends on where you are in the business, what you are trying to achieve and what your goals are. But if this is really your serious business and you're trying to grow, you're going to want to understand Google. Let me have a sip of coffee here. If there are any questions, let me know in the chat panel. So now we know how to set this up, right? We go here, we click on Facebook, we're good to go. It still won't look like this. What you're looking at here are my old ads, right? So yours will be like a white page and it'll say your ads will sit here. So we'll get into the nuts and bolts of how to run an ad in just a moment. But what I want to talk about first is why Facebook and why Google. Okay. So this is Google here. And this is Facebook here. Okay. Now it might look different for you. Your Facebook, I have it turned on dark or something because I just don't like bright lights in my eyes all day. But what we're looking at here is the news feed. It's take a second to open up. But the news feed is like where you see what your friends are doing, right? You see what they're eating, you see where they're vacationing, you see your grandkids, you see all kinds of fun stuff on the news feed. Okay. This section right here is really powerful because it has American adults in the United States spend about 40 minutes every day on Facebook scrolling through this newsfeed. They see all the fun things about the movies that people are watching. They just see all kinds of cool stuff. And so that sucks down a lot of time, 40 minutes a day. If you think about it, where is somebody spending that much time? It's going to be maybe at work and probably on TV, right? And I'm pretty sure ad budgets on TV are expensive for use. They're expensive for everybody. But Facebook is really affordable, and people are standing in line in Starbucks. They're sitting on conference calls like this. They're sitting in a meeting, just scrolling through Facebook. They're just doing this all the time. That's why it's 40 minutes a day. It's 70% of American adults. So if you toss an ad up here, it can be really effective. You can capture a lot of leads. But we have to remember, how did I capture that lead? I captured that lead because somebody was just scrolling through, looking at what their friends are doing and their family, right? Stuff like that. And you said, hey, I have an open house, or hey, would you like to find out about how to price your home? Something that resonates for that person at that very moment, right? And that's cool. Facebook is the number 3 website in the United States. A lot of traffic every day, right? So that's why Facebook works so well. But when we have a question in life, where can I get a good steak? And what's the best kind of car to buy? And where to get a hotel for my vacation? And how do I sell my home? 86% of all people come to google.com. Okay. That's a very large percentage of people. It's Google's the number 1 place for online search. Okay. 86% of all people in your communities are coming here. They're not picking up a phone book. You know that, right? So there are some keywords. So the way that this works is, if I type in these words, and as you can see, I just typed it in, and I'm sitting in a zip code or in a city, and let's make sure we say it's a city, then these people right here are paying. You can see it says sponsored. They're paying for these words in my area. You might want to look at that, right? You might want to go do some searches like this in your area. Right? So wherever you're sitting, and I'm not saying right now, I'm just saying you might want to know who is paying for your area. And I'm going to send everybody this. This is a little bit deep dive, but I would recommend that everybody looks at this call. Let's see here. I see a question here. So I'm going to send this to everybody, and we'll talk about this page. These are the keywords that people are searching for. Okay. On the top half of this page, and these guys refresh this article. So I've been looking at it for a couple of years, but they actually go back like twice a year and say, hey, here are the updated words. Here are the keywords that people are using if they're a buyer. They are typing these things in. You might want to type these in when you have some quiet time to see, I wonder who is like paying for these things, who is dominating your market, right? You're going to find out very easily on Google. If you're more interested in listings, scroll down where it says top keywords to find sellers, because these are the terms that people are typing in there. You should be familiar with this. If you write things on email, or if you write things on social media, and you are presenting yourself as a professional in real estate, you might want to use the terms that these people are writing. That's what this page is telling you. I would save this page. I would refer to it when you start thinking about, I'm going to write something, or I'm going to give some content or something valuable to the market. I wonder what they're thinking about. A lot of people are thinking about these things, right? So that's there for you. And that has to do with keyword search on Google. Okay. So it's a little bit deep. We're now going to get into the nuts and bolts. I see a question here. Feel free to ask questions, the chat panel, whenever you're ready. I did Google Ads. Our California compliance requires a DRE and broker's info in all ads. I don't see a way to edit that. Diane, I would support that. That might be something that we need to configure. Okay. But let's tackle that. Let's try to figure it out. But I definitely would send that to support, because if that's a California law, let me tell you where I think I would do that. Let's just jump over to Google. Okay. Now, if we click on Google and you're using this, you'll see you can do four kinds of ads. You can do an IDX ad, a landing page ad, a PDF guide ad, and a custom ad. I do not recommend anybody here does a custom ad unless you are really advanced and know what the heck is going on in Google. What we have here is we have Google software embedded, and it's our understanding that Google is difficult to work with. And most agents don't know what the heck is going on there. And that's understandable because it's difficult to work with. These top three options, we've got their software. We're making it super easy. Okay. I would really recommend that when you're thinking about Google, that you use Google to get listings. You can get buyer leads, but they're going to be expensive. And we're going to talk about Facebook, and that's a cheap place to get buyer leads. So I would think you want to save your money and get cheaper buyer leads, right? Now, are they higher quality on Google? Yes, because they're actually looking, but they are more expensive. But you can test that out. But I would say that you want to definitely use Google for getting listings. And let's do a landing page, right? That would make sense. And let's do a landing page on an area to offer a free home value. Now, I'm not going to, there's a landing page section over there on the left. You can create unlimited landing pages for all of your areas. And right here, you want to type in, and I think we're taking the zip code thing out right here, because if you use a zip code in Google, it's going to block your ad, but you can type in the name of a city. Okay. And this is how you run a home valuation ad. All you have to do is type in the name of the city and click publish, and bam, everything is done. If you try to do that in Google, I don't think you could actually do it. Not many of you could run that ad because it's just not that intuitive. Okay. If you want, and just for our knowledge here, I'm going to click on view link, and you will see the landing page that I created earlier. And this is where I'm driving traffic to. And you can see here, it says Concord home valuation free, right? So this is what the ad's going to look like. And the question, who asked that question? Let's see if I can break that out a little bit. That was Diane, right? So she's saying in California, you've got to put DRE and broker's info in all ads. I don't see a way to edit that. So she doesn't see a way to edit that. Let me tell you where you can edit this. It would be in advanced options, right? And if you scroll down, you'll notice all the keywords. Remember when I did the search on Google and I typed in a couple of words there? These are all the keywords that we're automatically putting there for you. So when people type in these words, this ad should pop up. Now, these blue things here are headlines, and you can see we've got multiple headlines. If you do this by hand in Google, and you're welcome to do that. You don't have to use our stuff. You don't have to use our software here. We just make it easy. You would have to do all these headlines by yourself, right? And we do it automatically for you. Now, right here, this area that I'm highlighting, it says get market information now. This is what you can edit. Diane, this is where you could say, I would probably do something like this. I'd get rid of this line, and it says 100% free instant valuation report. And I would say, what's your DRE number, right? Whatever it is, DRE goes here, and broker's info too, right? And I would cut these descriptions, and you can see there's 3. And so what we're looking at here is 1, or it's just like let's see here, description 1. Let's see. I think if we do that, yeah, they should rotate on this. If it were me, to be safe, Diane, I would change these 3 descriptions, and I would shorten them with our line, and then I'd put your info on each one of these lines so that you make sure that it's seen, because Google rotates these. They don't always use all three. They use portion, and they rotate them every time somebody sees an ad until they realize, hey, you know what? Description number 2 is the one that everybody clicks on. And once they know that, then they go, yeah, uh, yes, that's right. It'll take away from those highlights, but it should get you there, right? Or you could reverse it, right? Like you could add it up here. You in this, the blue section, these are headlines. You could put, you could put your stuff up there, but I think I do it the way that I described first, and then that would work. So it's interesting. I would highly recommend, Diane, if you would help us out, to send a message to support and let them know that this is a California compliance and that it would help if we could just make that work. That's the way to work around it. Okay. But what are we doing here for the rest of us that are not worried about those laws? We're trying to publish a landing page in an area. Okay. And if somebody goes in to Google and types in any of these keywords, our ad has the ability to show up. And when it shows up, they can click on it and they're going to land on this page and get a free home value. And you're going to get notified of that information too. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about this. So the ad is a 7-day ad and it's a $50 a day budget. That means you can spend, you're on the hook for $350 in a 1 week period. Okay. So let's talk about that, because you can change that number. You can change that number to $100 a day. You could even change it to $10 a day. But I don't know the cost of seller leads in your market. Does anybody here on this call right now run ads on Google with landing pages just like this? Anybody on this call? There's a lot of people here today. And while we're waiting for that answer, let me tell you what I have heard from realtors around the country. And that is that a seller lead in Dallas, Texas, for an ad exactly like this, costs $30 each. In Western Pennsylvania, like Reading, a seller lead from this exact kind of ad costs $22, and in Utah, $17. Let me ask you this. How much do you think this lead would cost you in Vancouver, Canada, up in British Columbia? And let me say this. Let's say you're in Dallas, Texas, and I just told you that seller leads cost $30, and you decide, oh, I'm going to change this to 10. You're not going to get any results, because there will not be any ad. There will not be a lead that they're going to sell for $10, because you have so many realtors competing on Google and they're driving the price up to $30. So you just won't even win. You'll be able to run the ad and you may go, oh, I didn't get anything, right? Listings lead sucks. It's a factor of, are you paying enough for the ad or for the lead? So I didn't hear any answers, and you guys aren't up in Canada probably. These leads in the Canadian market of Vancouver, which is a beautiful town, often cost between $100 and $300 each. Okay. There's a lot of big teams up there. There's a lot of expensive homes up there, and those teams are competing heavily. And so the price of leads is ridiculous. If you're a new agent, you can't even play. You have to build your business some other way, maybe with Facebook or all kinds of other tools, to get that volume up to where you can compete on the number one website. So there's a lot of information there talking about Google, right? Are there any questions about what I'm talking about? The cost of leads, how to run an ad, keywords, how you target. Any questions on this? Okay. So I don't see anything. I'm going to just show you another ad that we can run on Google. Let's wait to go back there. Another sip of coffee. So again, I want to give you an idea that you should walk or not forget, which is you should definitely use Google for getting listing leads. Okay. Because that's where people go when they have questions. They don't go to Facebook and type in on the status, hey, how do I sell my home? I can guarantee you that's not what happened. Everybody goes to Google. They have a question about anything related to real estate. That question happens on Google. Now, you may not know this, but I'm going to click on create a PDF guide ad. You may not know this, but on the PDF guides tab on the left, there are 80 PDF guides, and each of you are branded on every page of every guide. Each of these guides is about 5 or 6 pages long. We've written them in-house. They're high level. They work all over the country. You can focus on buyers. If I click on buyers here, you're going to see the 40 written for home buyers, or you can click on this one for the 40 that are focused on home sellers. You can use them both, right, on Google. Let's do this one here. 5 dangers of overpricing. That might be a relevant topic, right, at any time. So I'm going to click create ad. And I see a question here. Is there a place to find out the cost in each city? Thomas, I don't know. And so let me finish this ad and then we'll talk about that in just a second. So now I have a PDF guide that is really not city specific. It could be wherever. So since I was doing an ad on Concord, that means Concord is important to me, right? You ideally have, I don't know, 4 or 5 or 10 different farm markets, and you want to run ads in all those areas, right? Now here I've got Concord, but I could also say, hey, you know what? I actually focus on a few towns, and Pleasant Hill is right next door to Concord, and Walnut Creek is right next door to Concord. And I would want to help people in all these areas. So I'm going to run this right there. And what Thomas was asking was, I'm mentioning a cost per lead. I'm telling you it's a $50 a day budget, but I'm also telling you, I don't know the cost per lead in every town. And Thomas is asking a good question. Is there a resource that'll tell you what a lead costs in my area? You might want to do that Google search there, right? And John is asking, is it better to do a ad with a guide or with a landing page? And I think it really depends on what you're trying to do, right? Because it's a different value, right? There might people say, hey, click here and get your free home value. But what is the dangers of overpricing, right? You can actually see here are 5 dangers. So it might be really useful to try this out and find out what's responding more. Here's another one that's interesting. Do you guys know the average length of home ownership in the United States, like average around the country? Do you know what that is? There's a certain number of years, 7 years. Diane, I think you're right about that. That's right. And does anyone here know the average length of a marriage in the United States? I think it's just about the same. It's 7 or 8 years. So something like this is going to be relevant in your market pretty much all the time, right? So it's not offering a home value, right? And you might, if I came onto the internet and I live in my town, right? So I want to target people who live here. And I say, yeah, I'm going to do this. When we click on, if somebody just goes in and types in the word divorce, this could pop up. And if somebody is thinking divorce, and I hate to, sound like negative, but you need to understand keywords on Google. If I go to Google and type in divorce attorney, this has a very likelihood of lining up, of signing up there, of popping up. And I'm not thinking of a divorce attorney. I'm not thinking of my real estate. I'm thinking of a divorce attorney, but that starts to work for me. And so there are 80 different topics. You should look at those topics of what we've written in the PDF guides and decide which ones you want to test and use in your market. Okay. So that's the Google story. And again, you can do landing pages. You can create unlimited landing pages on the left here. There are 80 PDF guides here. Let's do one more just to show you. We have something called create an IDX ad. This is how you get buyers. Okay. And what area do you want to focus on? Let's just say Concord, because we're going to dominate Concord, right? And we've already got a home valuation landing page. And now I'm going to create an ad for Concord, California. And what you need to do here is type in a link. And that might be a link to your property search page. Okay. And $50 a day. There you go. Right. People click on this. So when the ad is over here, it's going to, it's when they click on it, it's going to drive them to your website. I only recommend this if you have a website that will force registration after 3 or 4 or 5 clicks or 10 minutes or whatever, right? There are a lot of websites out there that realtors have that don't. You can just search forever. And I don't recommend paying Google for that. Okay. But if your website can convert traffic to a lead, then you might want to do this. I actually don't recommend it because it's going to be expensive. And this is designed to get buyer leads, right? It's an expensive way to get buyer leads. We're going to talk about Facebook in just a minute, and that's a really affordable way to get buyer leads. So click on advanced options. You see all the keywords. We put it there. We're making it really easy for you to do this. Using a PDF to get seller leads on Facebook doesn't work, or do I just test and for how long? No, we haven't talked about Facebook yet, John, but it's a good time to jump over there. Any questions about Google before we move over to Facebook? So John's asking, do you have to click advanced options for them to be applied? No, you don't. I'm just showing you what's there. Right? You don't have to click on advanced options. I'm going to jump out of our little test account, and I'm going to go over to a live clients account. And this is an unusual client, but I think you can learn a lot by looking at this account. This is an expansion team in North and South Carolina. Okay. And all they do is they run ads for their agents to get buyer leads. We have all these ways to get listing leads, and we have all kinds of great social media content, all this awesome stuff that you should all be using. But these guys only do one thing. They run ads every day of the week, and they capture a lot of leads, and they give them to their agents. Okay. So John is saying, should I use Facebook ads first or Google ads first to get seller leads? That is a good question. Google ads are going to have a higher quality, more expensive lead. Facebook ads, you can make it get high quality, but typically it's not as high as Google, but they're cheaper. So you can maybe think on that, John, of what you're trying to do. I think you need both. And the reason why I'm bringing you here is, let's talk about this for a minute, and I'll explain to you why we're even looking at this. This account I launched in like Halloween 15 months ago. So not the Halloween that just passed, but a year ago Halloween. Okay. And all they do is they run ads. They run 543 ads. On average, they put $100 per ad. Our default settings are $35 for buyer lead, for buyer ads. We'll see that in a minute. But these guys put about $100. So you can see they spent $53,000. They have 15,000 leads. These leads are coming with name, email, and phone number. And that means that these agents can act on them. And that's why it's worth it for them to be using our software, using our system to get these kinds of leads. We're talking about North and South Carolina. Another important thing here is this number here, impressions. When you run an ad, and we're going to look at it in a moment, it will say sponsored by you, sponsored by your business page. So right now, in the last 15 months, nearly 3.5 million people have seen their ads in these 2 states. And that's an important thing. When you're spending money on Facebook, you can actually build your brand. And we have had Facebook ad software embedded in our platform It probably took us maybe 6 months or a year after it was developed. We've been around, Listings to Leads has been around longer than the Facebook ad platform, but we knew it was valuable and we got the software and we built it in, and we've been making it easy for agents like this for years. But what I'm trying to make sure you're understanding is, if you're new, if you're a new agent, wherever you're sitting, it could be in the US, in the Caribbean, or in Canada, or in Latin America, you are competing against probably thousands of other agents. How are you doing that? Are you doing that on the expensive Google platform, or are you building your brand on Facebook? And we've had clients using our ads, and I've had clients say, hey, we are always running ads because we're always managing 5+ listings at a time. We run ads on Just Listed, on Open House, and on Sold. And now it's getting to the point that if people have a question in real estate, they don't go to Google. They just call me because they're like, I know you're a realtor because I see your ads all the time. Right. That's really what advertising is about. We're talking about it in lead capture. And yeah, it's important for us to capture leads at Listings to Leads, because the more leads you guys are capturing, the longer you're going to be a client of ours. So we want to make sure we're doing what we can to make sure you capture leads, but you can also just build your brand here. So let's go look down here and talk a little bit more about what you're seeing here. You can see here that this was a $100 ad, spent 100 of 100, 1,700 people saw it. That's what reach means. That's what this eyeball means. The cost per lead was $7.40 per lead. CPL means cost per lead. So they got 14 leads, right? 714. Why is cost per lead $6.65 here? And why is cost per lead $10 here and $3.76 here and $5.54? I actually don't know why. I think the guess is, in my mind, is how much competition is going on in those areas by other realtors. And that, to me, I think is the first reason of why things cost more. Because all these are all buyer ads. They are all marketing homes, and they are all designed to get buyers. So you would think, and we know from just our own analysis, that the average cost of a buyer lead in the United States right now on Facebook is $3 each. Okay. I talk fast. I hope you understand what I just said. On average, a buyer lead costs $3 from Facebook. So if you're running a $30 ad and you're paying the average price, you would get 10 leads. But these guys right here, this lead CPL for the first ad is $2.56, $1.84 over here, $10, $6.67. It's not the same. Okay. It's just rarely ever the same. I want to bring this to you so that you understand that the eyeball means how many people are seeing it. And this number here, where it says Facebook leads, means how many leads you're actually getting. And John has a good question. That's a buyer lead. How about seller leads? We're not there yet, John. I like the way you're always thinking. You must have a very fast brain. We're just talking about buyer leads right here. Okay. So we're going to jump out of this because this client here doesn't even worry. They don't even focus on getting seller leads. And let's go back to my account and talk about how to get listing leads. And let me tell you this, just at a high level, seller leads are typically more expensive than buyer leads on Facebook. Okay. And let's just go to the ad section and we'll figure that out. Now we only have 20 minutes here, and Scott's jumping on another call in 20 minutes. So I'm going to move a little bit fast. Yeah. I'm running a Facebook ad on pending, getting a decent number of leads, but I don't get address information. I'm not converting very well as I'm having to follow up to get their addresses. Good. That's a good. Thank you, Thomas, for saying that. We're going to discuss that. So let's just tackle that right there, because this is being recorded, John, and it is going on our YouTube channel, which I shared with everybody at the beginning of the class. Listings to Leads on YouTube. This class will be there. So what Thomas is saying is something that I want to talk about. So let's do the easy thing first. Let's create a listing ad on a property that is for sale. You could do for sale by owner if you're working with somebody, but maybe you've got a listing or you've got something And let's leave it on lead ads. Okay. Let's talk about that. So if we click create an ad, and this is what Thomas is doing, and I'm going to read you, I scanned this question. I want to read it because you can definitely learn from this. So to get a buyer lead, you want to run an ad on a property. This one is for sale. I think that open house ads have even better results than for sale or just listed, but all are designed to get buyer leads. And all you got to do is click publish. If you want, you can click up here in this box before you publish and say, hey, you know what? It's in a great school district, or I got a new granite kitchen, or it's got whatever wine cellar or horse barn or whatever, right? You can customize that before you publish it. And this should be getting buyer leads. And this is what we were just looking at over at the Keller Williams account. This is all they do is they did a run ads like this, but they changed this $35 to $100. This is how you get buyers. Now any questions about that? We're going to talk about how to get sellers. And this is going to answer Thomas's questions and John's. So on Facebook, you can run landing page ads and PDF guide ads. These are going to get sellers, or you can run listing ads. So how would we do that? Let's do a sold ad first. Just sold. Lead ads. And what lead ads means is when I see this ad on the right, and all I got to do is click publish, you can customize this, make this more attractive. Say, hey, we sold it 10K above asking. We sold it 2 weeks and we got 8 offers. This is telling people that you're good at selling a home. You can get top money and do it quickly, right? So it'll be sponsored by your business page. So that's why it's building your brand. That's up there on the top left. And this ad will show up on Facebook. And when people click on it, this little window pops up and it says, hey, would you like more information? And the answer is yes. And that's where Thomas is saying, I've got an ad on a pending listing. I'm getting a good number of leads, but I don't get the address information. Okay. And that's because he is running the ad. So this is a sold property. So let's go do a pending property. And before I go there and do that, let's remember that when we run an ad on a property that is for sale, those leads cost $3. When we run an ad on a property that's sold, those leads cost $7. Okay. So almost double. When we run an ad on a ad that is pending, Thomas, do you know your cost per lead on yours? On that, we've seen the cost of lead of this. So he's saying $5. Okay. Let's just wait for that to finish. I have seen ads on pending and under contract properties. Those leads go as low as $2.38. So if we're always running a $50 ad for seller leads, which is our default setting, anything that you're doing to get sellers on Facebook, our budget is $50 for the week. So divide 50 by 7, and that's what you're getting. And what Tom is saying is, yeah, his cost per lead is $5. We have seen these leads cost $2.50 and $2.38. So pending and under contract ads can be a really cheap way of getting interested seller leads, right? But when you click this thing, so let's go over to Facebook real quick. If this was an ad and we click on it, it's going to say, so here's a cool boat, right? There would be a button and it would say learn more, right? And if I clicked on that, this little window will pop up on the right and say, would you like more information? And there's one answer, yes. And their information, their name, email, and phone number is sitting right there. It's pre-populated from the Facebook profile. So nobody is typing it in. Okay. And what Thomas is saying is, I'm not getting their addresses. And that's because Facebook will not give you their address in that form. And so what's going on is when we drive them to another page, like if I ran an ad and I get a lead form, and this is a different example, it's a different tool, or I run a traffic ad and I say, when they click on it, it's going to drive there. Here, you're going to get the address. Okay. And this is how it works. This is how a lot of these things work. And so I'm just going to type in a random address. I'm going to say, get the value. And when I click that, you now have my email and my address. Okay. But you don't have my phone number. And at this point where it asks for my email address again, we already have it because when you click the button, we already know that. Or maybe we don't. Maybe we just have the address. That's what it is. We just sent you the address. So you have the address. But a lot of people, when they get here, will be like, no way, I'm not giving you my address. I'm not giving you my email address because I don't want your spam forever. So a lot of people leave here. And so, Thomas, this gets to what you got to think. Do you want to collect addresses and possibly no other contact information? Or do you want to run a lead ad and get a name, email, and phone number where you know they're interested and you've got more ways of contacting them? And then that's it. These leads will be in L to L. Yes, there's a whole leads tab right over there, John. And your lead's going to be right there. And then John's asking, how accurate is this information? This information is coming from Onboard Infometrics. And Onboard Infometrics is one of those rare companies that actually goes into records and local records and develops some spreadsheet, or not spread, but just a high, low, and medium, right? And if I tell you I'm thinking of selling or I'm just dreaming or whatever, and I click this, we're going to present a range of prices, low, medium, and high. And here there's none, right? And this is a good thing to know and good thing to test before you try to point people to this page. A lot of companies are familiar, a lot of realtors are familiar with Zillow, and Zillow is just this massive website and it creates values based on, I don't know, math. Whereas this company is physically going into areas to figure it out. Now, this property here, Dinkin Road, it might be a commercial property. Let's just go see it and see what that is. If it's commercial property, we're not going to get an address. Yeah, see, it's a church and it's not like a residential property. So that's why it didn't really give us a value. But there are times where it doesn't operate in certain counties because the county is not cool with sharing information, stuff like that. So that's the problem, right? So can we send them to the landing page for collecting the address right after they submit the form? Yes. And Thomas, I actually think we do that. I think we do that automatically. So the problem is they're not maybe wanting to fill that out. So you're capturing the information. And what I would do as part of your conversion, Thomas, is that at the point that you're getting leads with email addresses, correct? That means I would take the landing page of whatever town they're in, right? Let's say, where are you running these ads, Thomas? What city? You're running an ad on Orlando. So you should go to the landing page section over here, create an Orlando home value landing page, put a nice picture of Orlando or of the Disney thing or whatever you want as a landmark in the back of that page. And when you get those leads, send them that and say, hey, I see you're interested in your home value. Click right here and get your free home value instantly, right? You'll have it in 10 seconds. People can afford to give you 10 seconds and they'll go, boom, they'll type in their address and you will now know their address. And then when they get to that next page where it's asking for their email, they may walk away. They may not give it to you, but maybe you can triangulate that. Here's the weird thing. And if I can impress upon you anything, we have been creating tools to capture leads for 13 years for realtors. Okay. And I can tell you this, if I ask for somebody's phone number in a form like this email here, even the email, if I ask for the email, I have a likelihood of not getting it. Okay. If I ask for a phone number or require a phone number, and you can actually change the settings on our system, you will most likely not get any leads at all. If you force them to type in this stuff on a web form in any way, that's just how it is. If you're asking for something from the government, you're going to fill it out. But when it's a random website and I don't know you, no. However, when it's so weird is when people see these ads here on Facebook, and they want an answer and their name, email, and phone number is pre-populated, they are so easy to say, yes, I want that information. So if you want leads with name, email, and phone number, Facebook is the very best place to do that. Okay. And I definitely hope you understand that. So we talked about pending leads, getting leads for sellers for $2.50. Thomas here in Orlando is saying his leads cost $5. You can also run, and so we also can do PDF guides. So if we do a PDF guide, and now there's 40 different PDF guides for home sellers, if we run one of those ads, how do I avoid foreclosure? Let's just do that one. Lead ads, because I think it's better to have name, email, and phone number. If I do traffic, and Thomas, you could try this. You could say, hey, I want to run traffic. I want to run traffic to this page because I would rather have addresses and possibly no email addresses and no phone numbers. If you want that, you can say, hey, I'm going to do traffic instead of lead ads. I think it's smarter to have a name, email, and phone number. I think you're going to be able to convert faster that way. But I'm going to do lead ads for this PDF guide. And on the PDF guide, it doesn't have to be city specific because it's not talking about a city. It could be Orlando, right? And I could say, hey, you know what? I'm willing to drive an hour. So I'm going to let people within a 40-mile radius see this. Bang, right? These leads on PDF guides on average cost $10 each, maybe a little bit more for Thomas out there in Orlando. Okay. So there are 40 different PDF guides for homeowners. On average, they're $10. The leads are $10 each. You can run an ad on a home value, which is what we are doing. But I want to tell you, I'm going to give you some homework because I'm running out of time here. And Scott may just kick me off. You can run an ad on that Concord. What is the problem here? On the Concord home value page. Click here to get your homework. Let me tell you that those leads cost $15 each on average. Okay. And there's a big problem. And before we get cut off, I'm going to ask you if you want listing leads from home value ads on Facebook, which are going to be cheaper than the lead on Google, you want to come over to this page and somewhere you can search. There's a magnifying glass right here. And you want to type in the words custom audience. We talked about custom audience earlier. I'm not going to be able to dive deep into it, but right here, custom audiences on how to target homeowners. I actually go into detail right here, custom audience target sellers. Watch this once or twice, because when I click on this and I say landing page and I say, hey, I want to do an ad for Concord, you may know this. You have no targeting, right? So I'm going to click lead ads. I'm going to click here and it's going to say, okay, this ad is going to show up in Concord and a 15-mile radius. Okay. So depending on where you are, this might not work very well. And I'll show you why. You guys may not know Concord, California. It's a cute little town, lots of homes, small homes, affordable, lots of activity. This over here is a map. And what I'm trying to show you is that this town is surrounded by other towns. Okay. If I back out a little bit here, it's over here. This area right here in the middle of this map is Concord. But my ad is going to show up. It's actually wider than this. It's going to show up in all these other towns. And that's going to make my ad not very effective. Okay. And that kind of sucks because then people are like, hey, I'm not getting a lot of leads because I'm doing this. If you're going to create a home value ad with a landing page, it has to be about a particular area. It shouldn't be about a county. And if you own a home, wherever you own a home, you want top dollar for your home, right? So you want to make sure that you're working with a realtor who knows your area. Maybe it's Concord. Maybe it's Orlando. Maybe it's St. Louis. I don't know, but you need a landing page that speaks to that area And you could even click in here and say, hey, you know what? 50 homes sold this year and the highs here and blah, blah, blah. Make this ad work a little bit better. But these are the most expensive leads, about $15 each. And if you try to use this, it's not going to work. So you don't target here. You type in custom audience. Remember, I told you to turn on custom audiences at the beginning of the call, and you can create a custom audience. You can go buy a list of homeowners in Orlando. You should do this. You should go to Remind, buy that list. We're going to get cut off in a minute here, guys. So I'm going to say goodbye. This call will be on the mastermind group. You upload it on the ads page. It will live in your Facebook account. So you can type in L to L Orlando homeowners, and you'll have a landing page speaking about Orlando, and you'll be typing words about Orlando. That's how you get high quality leads from Facebook. Thomas, you're doing a good job there. The question is, do you want to collect addresses or do you want name, email, and phone number? I hope everybody understands what I'm saying here. I think we're going to lose. Thank you so much for your questions. This call will be on the mastermind group. If you need a team account or a broker account, email me, Vincent Listings to Leads. Oh, one last thing. The holidays are here. Lead costs should drop because a lot of realtors take a nap for the winter. Less competition, lower cost of leads. I hope this helps. Take care, everybody.